tonight's fixture is set up nicely after England's fantastic win against Iran in the first game. And of course, America's draw against Wales in that first group game. They will look to capitalise on Wales's loss and try and then take any result they can get from tonight, the Americans, into that final game against Iran. It's myself, Matt Guy, and Ben White alongside me. And Ben, this is certainly set up to be an interesting and entertaining game.
Oh, well, it is, and not just least because of the context. Of course, England and America, noisy cousins, if you want to call them that, just to and fro between each other. And there's no surprise that England are unchanged. It was just a dominant display against Iran. And of course, originally you're thinking that, or maybe that's because that Iran aren't that strong of a team, and then they go and earlier on today dismantle the Welsh side. And all of a sudden, if England were to win this match against America, they're through ball in looking for, as you're right, I think he might have been offside, but they'll carry on. Pickford lumps it forward. But just going back to that point, if England do win this match, then Iran almost the favourites to finish second in the groups. There's a lot of pressure on the United States to get something out of the last two games. So for them, they're going to want to try and get something from this. But for England, a victory wraps up their qualification to the next round. So it's two teams that are going to be desperate to get goals at least. It's exciting for the neutrals, but just to get to the next round as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Gareth Southgate's side unchanged tonight, as you said, Ben, and it's the first time that Gareth Southgate has not changed a single member of his starting 11 since the World Cup 4 years ago. So it shows how Gareth Southgate likes to change things, but not tonight. Greg Berhalter, as you said, Ben, has brought in Haji Wright tonight for Norwich's Josh Sargent up top. He came off the bench against Wales in that second half. Didn't get too much of a sniff given the fact that Wales were on the front foot in that second half. That game was a real tale of 245 minutes as Arsenal's Matt Turner has the ball at feet inside the box, just sprays out a ball to the right hand side looking for McKennie. He goes down the line looking for Timothy Weah, their goal scorer in that game against Wales, and across comes Harry Maguire to put the ball out of play. So the England team is Pickford, Trippier, Stones, Maguire, Shaw, Bellingham, Rice and Mount, Saka, Sterling and Harry Kane, of course, who picked up that knock in that first game but is fit to start. His inclusion has been a talking point before this game, hasn't it, Ben? And it's one of those, if he's fine and he wants to play, he's the skipper, he's the goal scorer, and usually is anyway.
Well, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, obviously Gareth Southgate knows a lot more than the critics, because some people were saying that Harry Kane should have come off earlier in the match against Iran when the match was already wrapped up, and you're thinking you can save him, avoid extra minutes when he's nursing an injury as it is. But, well, it's been proven by looking at the team sheet 1 hour before kickoff that he's starting. And, well, it's obviously massive. You say he's the captain, he was top scoring qualifying, always a goal threat, he can drop deep and be a menace and spray passes to what are, as well, very attacking wingers that know where the net is in Sterling and Saka. So he's just got it all, Harry Kane, and it's still an important match for England. They want to wrap it up. There's arguments about whether he could have rested Kane, but it shows the intent that he doesn't want to change the side at all. Yeah, absolutely. Harry Kane up top, of course, didn't get a goal in that game against Iran, which was rather surprising, but picked up a couple of assists. The American team then is Turner, Dest, Zimmerman, Ream, Robinson, Musa, Adams and McKennie in midfield with Weah, Pulisic and Wright up top. Zimmerman, of course, the only man again in the starting 11 that hasn't or isn't currently playing on the European stage of football, as Sterling picks up the ball on halfway for England, pressed by Serginho Dest, just drops one back into Luke Shaw. 4 minutes into the game then, England 0, United States of America 0, and neither side has really put together an attack as of yet. A slower start to the game than some of the games we've seen, especially today, of course, with Cody Gakpo putting the Dutch ahead 1-0 in the opening stages of that game. They were pegged back in the end as ball goes long up towards Harry Kane, just holding the ball up against Tyler Adams, waiting for some support. He's taken down in the end by Musa, and the England skipper will win a free kick in the middle of the park. Of course, there's a number of players who have been fighting to make their way into this England side. Of course, Grealish and Rashford coming off the bench and scoring against Iran, and Maddison's fantastic form pre-tournament before, of course, picking up that knock. He's still not trained with the side, so there's plenty for Gareth Southgate to look at in terms of options, and what a wealth of talent he has on the bench to bring on from the bench should he need those players. As Maguire plays a square ball into Stones. England dominating the possession as you would expect, and America trying to push themselves up the field and press here as Weah just puts in a foot on Maguire, but Manchester United centre-half gets the ball away to John Stones, just
delays on the ball. The Americans are pushing forward, but they're not all hell for leather at the moment. Just keeping their shape as the ball goes out to the left-hand side. Maguire, and his ball has slackly been put out of play. Luke Shaw, his Manchester United teammate, couldn't keep it in play there, and unlike the game against Iran, England have started a little bit slowly.
They have, yeah. Just thought from Harry Maguire there. We mentioned about Kane. It was a question about whether he'd be in the squad. Obviously, Maguire himself went off. He said he was feeling ill during that game. He's back in the side as well. Of course, there's always that stigma with him surrounding club football with Manchester United. He always performs on the international level. That's why, of course, Gareth Southgate is always going to select him in the back line. It's always a debate, really, in international football. So many managers just prefer to stick rather than twist and try out new players that are performing at club level. He likes who he has for the most part of Southgate.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got a few players that he especially likes. Of course, he's got the likes of Foden and Maddison in attacking midfield, but likes the energy and the pressing that Mason Mount provides, and he's just pressed forward well against the Americans and won a throw-in over on the near side, should I say. Just before that, the Americans put a few good passes together before Jude Bellingham put a quick foot in on Yusuf Musa, and that stopped that attack. The ball goes over the top there of Tim Ream, but he recovers well to head the ball back to his goalkeeper, Matt Turner, and the Americans come out from the back. Zimmerman receiving the ball. He gave away that penalty against Wales, against Bale. And of course, made no mistake from the spot. As Tim Ream, the Fulham man, plays it to his club level and international level teammate, Anthony Robinson. He was impressive in that first game, driving with the ball, but here's Musa, just chops the ball to the left-hand side. Bellingham has to switch direction to cover. There's Robinson again, inside to Adams. Americans in all blue tonight. England in the traditional all-white strip as Ream on halfway fires it out to the left into Robinson as Saka looks to chop back and snap at the Americans' heels, but in the end he's just forced to make a little bit of a slack touch and it goes out of play for a throw.
Well, I think Robinson was almost surprised. He obviously gave up on the run and then tried to get back at it. It's almost as if he doesn't know his own pace, which by and large is rather quick regardless. He's had an impressive season with Fulham as a whole in the Premier League have been so impressive. I know he's sometimes got a defensive liability about it, but coming forward, there's always going to be a menace on that far side, or the near side, I should say, for this half at least. And Trippier will have his hands full. Yeah,
absolutely. He caused Wales a lot of problems in that first half. He pressed so far forward. He was almost a left winger at times, and that forced Connor Roberts really deep. And of course, we know Connor Roberts, but the Burnley man, is very capable at coming forward, but he wasn't able to do that in the first half against America. Rice fires one out to the left-hand side. Luke Shaw trying to go down the line, looks to recover the ball back and does so against Timothy Weah. And a switch from England to the near side. Here's Trippier, chips one down the line looking for Saka. Just bundles into Anthony Robinson, just does a smart thing, puts the American off, and he has to head the ball out of play for a throw. Third players will accept the result of that little battle as Jude Bellingham allows Trippier to come forward to take this throw in. About 7 yards out from the 18-yard box as Bellingham just slips into a challenge there. I think it was against Haji Wright, and I think the England man has come off worse perhaps there. He's up to his feet now, but he's hobbling on his right knee. The referee says play on. It's just an unfortunate slip, I think, there, Ben.
It was, yeah, but there's always going to be a concern when they go down like that, especially when there's a slip involved. It's almost like they're out of control and they're off worse, but he's on the ball now, approaching the penalty area.
Yeah, driving forward. Here's Saka on the right, chops it back to the penalty spot. There's Harry Kane, and his shot from the spot is deflected just wide of the goal. A great England move, but they couldn't find the finish.
Well, they couldn't, but Bellingham looks absolutely fine, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's just seen Saka on the overlap there. It's a good run from the Arsenal winger. Great cut back to Kane. There's a few bodies in the way, and I know that it's Zimmerman in the end that blocks the shot. Kane's not really under too much pressure, but the American defender does brilliantly to sort of read where Kane's trying to place it. Well blocked. It's out for a corner for another chance for England. But in the first 10 minutes where we haven't seen any other chance really, it's the first of the game. It's a pretty good one.
Yeah, absolutely. He does really well to get close to Harry Kane, doesn't it? And that just cuts off the angle and reduces the chance that Kane's shot will get past him as Trippier with the resultant corner. Outswinging ball towards the far post. There's John Stone. Looping towards it. Harry Maguire battling on the left wing, keeps the ball in play. Can he drive into the box? He gets in front of his man, almost going down. Still on the ball. Left foot cut back. It's turned away then by Dest. It looks like a shot's going to come in the end, but that's Mason Mount way over the bar. But Harry Kane troubling down the left wing.
Maguire's almost like a left winger. No, he's almost like a left winger there in the end. just like Anthony Robinson did a few minutes ago, it's almost as if he expected the ball to go out of play. I don't know what Tyler Adams is doing there.
Nope.
He's just guessed where Maguire's going to go. On the one hand, he's a left footer, so why is Adams trying to take him onto his favoured foot further down the byline to try and cut it back? It didn't work out in the end, but maybe just no one expected that from Maguire. It was an impressive run to keep what was in the end a poor corner alive.
Yeah, absolutely. Got a little bit of cramped room from behind him. That put him off balance, and of course they say the bigger you are, the harder you fall. He just struggled for his balance. Had he done so, he'd have been able to pick his head up to find a man. He almost did that, but not quite. As we're 11 minutes into this game then, England 0, America 0. Just a couple of half chances really for England. Harry Kane on the cutback just a moment ago, followed by that Harry Maguire run. The Americans not really put together an attack to trouble the England defence. Stones goes out to the left-hand side. Here's Luke Shaw looking down the line as Weston McKennie is pushed up against him, the Juventus man, should I say. Harry Maguire across to Stones once again, and England, of course, previously looked with that long ball up to Harry Kane down the right-hand side there. Just for the moment, keeping their patience, looking to see if they can find an avenue through the middle. Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham in constant motion, but they're being covered well by the Americans in blue tonight. Here's Shaw again down the left-hand side, goes down the line along the ground. There's a flick on from Sterling looking for the overlapping run of Mason Mount. In the end, the American defence cuts it out and just plays it out for a throw-in just about on the right-hand side. But England, the dominant team on the ball, and you can certainly see that they're flowing with confidence. Of course, there was a lot of talk pre-tournament that they hadn't put together some good results in the Nations League, but that Iran victory has completely switched the mentality.
Oh, it has, and when better to do it than on the World Cup stage. I mean, in my opinion, the Nation League doesn't mean too much. Of course, for some teams, it can get you maybe a playoff in the qualification, but get to tournaments like this. But for England, the priority is always going to be major tournaments like Euros and the World Cup. They got a great win in the first match against Iran, we've said. And we probably expected going into this game that they would dominate possession. And I mean, they've had one good chance in 12 minutes. That's all that's happened at the moment. Bellingham's trying to charge forward here. He brings down Anthony Robinson play on from the ref. America do come away with it. But I think we expected England to see a lot of the ball. The US, I don't really think have got into the final third of England yet. It's obviously very quiet for the English defence against Iran until those two late goals from Taremi. They have just got to be careful for the impending counter, because it will happen at some point. Absolutely,
but for now it's England on the left-hand side. Sterling comes inside to Bellingham. The Americans are trying to snap at the English heels as much as possible. They're a combative team in midfield, but weren't quite able to hang on to the ball for long enough, and that means Stones is going to push far forward on the ball there. Out to the left to Shaw. Mason Mount making sure his motion in midfield is pretty fluid. In and around Raheem Sterling and Harry Kane. There's Bellingham in a pocket of space, opens up the play on the right-hand side. Touchdown by Trippier. Down the line he goes to Saka. Down the line he looks to cut one back in towards the box. It's Harry Kane going for the overhead. Great recovering header in there by Weston McKennie. There was a shade of Richarlison there, but Kane couldn't make contact.
Well, he obviously saw the goal from Richarlison last night, didn't he? The one difference about this one, like you said, is the great defender from McKennie. He just gets in the way of between the ball and Kane. I'm surprised he didn't go down in the end, because so often when you see overhead kicks like that, any touch on the defender, they go down, they get a free kick. Full credit for McKennie staying on his feet, but even more credit for clearing the ball away at a crucial time.
Absolutely. Saka free on the right-hand side again now, up against Tim Ream, looking for some support behind him. Trippier's cramped him for room. He flicks the ball forward to Kieran Trippier, the Newcastle man, but in the end that will just bounce through to Matt Turner. A little bit of miscommunication perhaps down that right-hand side for England, but finding those gaps, they're starting to pry at this American defence as Turner balls the ball out to the left for Robinson. Happy to drive forward with the ball and chops back in the end and plays it to his Fulham teammate Tim Ream, square across the back, and Americans look to build out from defence. Sterling pressing up against Dest, but he drives past him, drives inside him, he's free now. He's got a couple of men on the right hand side, just has to chop back for the moment, but that's better from the American defensive line on the ball. There's McKennie. He's confident enough on the ball to go with his weaker left boot to chip Harry Kane to find Tim Ream. He finds Robinson on the left-hand side. Pulisic finally involved in the game. Not mentioned his name once in the opening 15 minutes.
No, maybe just because they haven't had the width. When they have had the width, America, it's been between the fullbacks, Dest and Anthony Robinson. Of course, they've got plenty of pace, and you could argue that maybe they don't have those defensive abilities. It could be their weak spot. Probably why McKennie's playing sort of as a right mid in a flat four in midfield, just to give maybe a bit of extra defensive protection in the American line.
Yeah, absolutely. Pulisic was heavily involved in the goal for America, of course, in that game against Wales, playing the ball through a nice cut through into Timothy Weah, who ran onto it and first time prodded it past Wayne Hennessy. Good 1-2 there for England as Saka plays it out to the left-hand side here for Luke Shaw. Here's Dest pressing forward, but there's Raheem Sterling just inside the box on the left-hand side. Plays it back to the Manchester United man. He cuts on his right foot looking for a cross in. It's scuffed rather, but for a moment it looks as though it was finding its way through to Bellingham, but couldn't quite find the Dortmund man. He's chasing back now against Anthony Robinson, putting him under pressure, but he finds Pulisic on the left-hand side as Wright and Robinson make moves forward, but Pulisic cuts inside for the moment, looking for another avenue. Finds one on the right-hand side in the shape of Weston McKennie. He sees the overlap now of Dest, but the early cross comes into right at the front post. Flicks that one towards goal, but in the end it's good 5 yards wide.
It is, but it's positive from the US. He said that Pulisic, we drove the front line forward. They found McKennie in extra space. It's a good ball in. Obviously, it's a lot to ask of Haji Wright because he's pressed by Harry Maguire and the ball's sort of behind him. So it takes a bit of power out of the header when it does eventually make contact with him, trying to steer it towards goal. Nothing more than a quarter chance really, but it just shows that they can come forward, and it's the two up top really that will be difficult for the centre-back pair of England to deal with.
Yeah, it's an aerial threat. He's shown that already, hasn't he? Haji Wright is second top scorer in Turkey this season for Antalyaspor, so him coming in for Josh Sargent is no drop-off in quality as the ball goes over the top of the American defence almost, should I say, though, as Zimmerman gets a little flick to it and knocks it back to his goalkeeper. We're looking to get in behind on that final line as Musa has some space in midfield, just drops it back to Tim Ream for the moment. Fizz down that left-hand side looking for Robinson. That's the outlet, isn't it, in that defensive line as he looks to break forward, but Trippier does really well to win the ball back as then there's a little professional foul, shall we call it. Bellingham just halting on the ball as soon as he received it, caught Musa off guard, who bundles into the back of it.
It's just a smart play from Bellingham, isn't it? He's so capable of that. I mean, his responsibilities in the team, of course, he can drop deep and between maybe the centre-backs and then bring the ball forward, but he just seems like that kind of streetwise player, doesn't he? Playing in close quarters, he'll have defenders or any opposition on him, shielded away even to the players ahead of him. He was so impressive in that Iran game. I imagine Greg Berhalter, for him, at least from a defensive perspective, will have obviously highlighted him amongst others in the English side, but given how impressive he is at such a young age, he's going to be on the eyes of essentially every American player, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. It's that youth as well, playing in levels that are always above him in terms of age categories. When he was younger, was breaking into the Birmingham team at just 16 years of age. He's learned that streetwiseness, hasn't he, from the older players. And of course, has done ever so well for Dortmund and shine on the biggest stage, not just at this World Cup, but the Champions League as well for the German side, as England playing the ball out from the back. Harry Maguire is just a little bit hurried, but gets the ball away to Luke Shaw. There's Mason Mount dropping deep with a switch out to the right-hand side, and just a clever knockdown then by Kieran Trippier. There's John Stones on the ball now, and the Americans in that flat 4-4-2. It's a 4-3-3 in attack, but as you said, Ben, there's Mr. McKennie dropping in on that right-hand side of midfield just to make it a flat 4, and Timothy Weah getting involved just inside. England overplaying a little bit there as Kieran Trippier's ball just goes out for a throw to the Americans on the left-hand side, but this has been a much more methodical game than the action-packed Iran game that we saw for England's first group game. It was a little bit methodical like this in the America-Wales game. That might suit the Americans as Harry Kane's just battled there by Tyler Adams, who's pulling at his shoulder, but he holds onto the ball as the Spurs striker drops it off to Saka. Then Bellingham gets involved, just drops the shoulder, cuts back the other way. Maybe it was foul, but for a moment the Americans continue the play, and the referee says as advantage as Musa plays across the midfield into McKennie. Dest looking to break forward down the right. Declan Rice dragged out to midfield to try and cover him. Here comes Dest, looks to cut one back to the edge of the box, but in the end the deflection from Declan Rice sees the ball hit the feet of Luke Shaw, but the Americans win it back in a good position. Can they keep this momentum going? Here's Pulisic, drives forward 5 yards, flicked back by Weah, out to the right for Dest, touches the ball once, crosses it right-footed, and it just lands perfectly in the hands of Jordan Pickford. He's telling somebody to move on the counter-attack, no one was coming.
He's always so animated, Pickford, even at club level for Everton. Whenever it seems like he makes a save, he's always got something to say to either his defence or, in this case, maybe the midfield or attack, because he did want to get it offloaded relatively quickly. When the ball came in from America, the one that was in the centre of the area was Pulisic. Of course, he hasn't got that much height about him, not least any aerial ability. The two strikers were a bit more out on the far side. but they're getting balls into the box at least. America, they're testing the English defence. It's the first action that Pickford's had to get involved in. Haji Wright's header, of course, earlier went right in the end, a few yards wide, but it's been a good response from the US because, as we said, England have had a lot of the ball. But when America do have the ball, they're trying to come forward a lot because it was Bellingham that got dispossessed by Yunus Musa earlier on, and they got the ball forward pretty quickly, and Wilson just found a lot of space now into the England half.
Yeah, in the middle, looks for a ball over the top, searching for Timothy Weah, but in the end, Harry Maguire will see that one go back to Jordan Pickford. It's those 5-minute spells, isn't it, that the Americans will look to try and put together, just pin England back as much as they can with some momentum as Tim Ream steps forward and wins the ball off Harry Kane, but he loses it to Saka. He's out of position now. Can England make way using that space? No, they can't, as Ream drops back into position, should I say, and Bellingham just plays it square to Rice in the middle of the park. England looking to establish control on the game once again, and playing out from the back. They're very comfortable in playing the ball in and around Timothy Weah and Haji Wright in the middle of the park, and this time it's Bellingham who picks it up as Musa can't get close to him. He fires it out to the left. Maguire down the line into Shaw, drop back to the centre half on halfway. And if there's no avenue there, England are more than happy to turn back and restart. They're very confident in their attacking setup, aren't they? And why not, with the amount of talent they have in the squad? Not quite being able to cut America open, but they've certainly showed openings so far. To 22 minutes in the game, still goalless. Independent, unofficial, off-tube studio commentary of England against the USA in this second game for each team in Group B. Iran beat Wales by 2-0 earlier today as the ball's dropped off for Mason Mount for England in the middle of the park. It's picked up then by Trippier, plays it back to the Chelsea man. He cuts inside for a moment, looks to flick the ball a little bit too complicated perhaps, but Tyler Adams was off balance and just toes that one out for a throw-in on the near side of the field. Well, we are a quarter of the way through the game then, Ben, and over to you to hopefully bring us the first goal of the game.
Cheers, Matt. Well, you just said it then. Yeah, still goalless between the United States. There already have been 4 mates in this World Cup competition. Only 1 in the previous World Cup in 2018 back in Russia. Already on track to try and match 7 the previous one 2014 in Brazil. Having said that, we have seen a lot of goalless draws at half-time, namely, just the Wales-Iran match, Portugal against Ghana as well before that one came into life in the last half hour. So don't expect anything from what you've seen so far in a World Cup that's already had plenty of surprises. Here comes Kieran Trippier, rides the challenge of Anthony Robinson, doesn't ride the one of Yunus Musa though, tactic challenge from the young American. Harry Maguire, he looks to spread the play out to the far left-hand side where Raheem Sterling is waiting. He's one-on-one with Serginho Dest, gets into the area. It's a heavy touch from the Chelsea man. Zimmerman can clear the loose ball. Thanks for Declan Rice though. Big time America are clearing it at this stage. Into Schmen. Maguire now into Stones. Dropping deep. Giving it back to Manchester City defender again, looking for the long ball this time. Out to the right wing. Bukayo Saka. Picked up from the Arsenal man as well. Under the pressure of Anthony Robinson. Just go out for US throw-in inside their own territory. As you said, I think 5-minute pockets is what it has been. Maybe in the last 5 minutes it's been a bit more 50-50 in the sense of both teams just losing possession. America, when they clear it back into England's feet, they really can't find someone in the final third at the moment. Frequency to US at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Stat just popped up on our screen. England are finding the ball between the midfield and the defence quite a lot, but as you say, they're not making that final ball pay. Looking over the top quite a few times, as you also said, and great ball before from Maguire over to Sterling on the left-hand side, wasn't it? It gave him 5 or so yards to sprint into in front of him and attack Serginho Dest, but he rather fooled himself as well as the defender, and I don't think anybody really knew exactly where it was going to go. And it's just those moments, isn't it, that Sterling and Saka on the long ball just need to neaten up a little bit if England are going to create an opportunity.
Pulisic just rides the challenge of Kieran Trippier. He's in back, into the back line of England. Venezuela. Does wave play on? It's Haji right now. It's into Tyler Adams, the captain of the United States. To Weston McKennie. It's in the red, white and blue. His hair. Raheem Sterling, the yard of space finds Yunus Musa rather well. He gets into the area. Marked by Jude Bellingham. Out to the right full back. Serginho Dest. He goes further back. Or Timothy Weah. Ball in looking for Haji Wright. Instead it goes to Weston McKennie, and he wasn't marked by either John Stones or Kieran Trippier, the Juventus midfielder found a little bit of space in and around the penalty spot. First time effort. I think he's got to get on that on target at least, hasn't he, Matt? But what a chance for America to take a shot lead.
Yeah, absolute. It's a fantastic chance. It bounces in front of him. Maybe he couldn't see it because Wright and Maguire were blocking his angle, but Wright puts his hands to his face in a sort of a gasp motion. He knows that that's a great chance, and he almost drifted into the box, didn't he? He was on the right wing for a moment, and suddenly out of nowhere you find him on the penalty spot. I don't think Saka really looked over his shoulder to see where he was, but that is a fantastic chance for America, and it's a wasted one.
All eyes really were on that aerial prowess of Haji Wright, so then he just slipped towards the back post to get that strike away. Even looking at the replay then, even more evident that he should be doing better with that chance. Easily the biggest of this fixture so far. Harry Kane, of course, had a half-decent chance in the early stages, blocked by number 3, Zimmerman. Nice now, halfway line to Harry Maguire again, the long ball on the far side. Shaw just about keeps it in play, heads it further on, looking for Raheem Sterling. Serginho Dest does well. He does better to launch it into the feet of the Manchester United fullback for a throw in. Kenny wants to take relatively quickly. Instead, he gives it to Serginho Dest, of course, on loan with AC Milan at the moment. Barcelona, certainly plenty of attacking capability. He was involved in that attack. It was then for United States. It was Timothy Weah, the goal scorer in their previous fixture against Wales, that took the ball in, looking for Mr. McKennie. Free kick given to United States here by Valenzuela. Well, I've just seen a very animated Matt next to me asking for a shove.
Well, yeah, he definitely pushes the man first time round and then catches Anthony Robinson on the slide tackle. And I do have to say, as a counter-attack, and he's sived him down in midfield, I think he's fortunate to get away without picking up a yellow card there, Kieran Trippier. And I think the second one was caused by the fact that he was a bit frantic about the first one. He pushes it, nudges him, and he doesn't win it, and therefore thinks, oh, let's panic, let's win the ball back.
Quite out of position as well. Kieran Trippier in the centre of the field, under advanced area. Mentioning England orange changed this fixture following on from their emphatic 6-2 victory over Iran. They'll be hoping to get a second victory in 2 group stage matches. They've achieved that on 3 previous occasions, 1982, 2006 and the previous edition, Russia 2018, where of course we reached the semi-finals for extra time, heartbreak against the eventual finalists Croatia. Here come America. Pulisic out now to Anthony Robinson. Mr. McKennie again getting into the area, drifting out from his right wing position on the left side on this occasion. Here's Yunus Musa, chance to strike from range, deflected off of Declan Rice. Fortunately for him and for Jordan Pickford, straight into the hands of the Everton goalkeeper. But they've really got into the game now of America. They're getting in more shots than England. But well, outside of the McKennie chance, I suppose, they're still looking assured in defence on the 3 Lions. But a lot more positive with Berhalter's men. Yeah, absolutely, and potentially a high boot there as Musa drops his head in towards Kieran Trippier. Often given throw in there, 50-50 says the referee, but why not have a shot from there, Musa? They've, as you say, they've got a little bit of momentum, a little bit of confidence now, the Americans. They're working their way really well into the game and finding some space on the left-hand side. And I tell you what, McKennie is finding some fantastic positions in and around the box, isn't he, from that right-hand side of midfield. But England looking to come forward now, need to start creating something. Ball from Luke Shaw looking for Mason Mount. It's well tackled in the end really by Serginho Dest. Goes kindly into the hands of his goalkeeper Turner. Of course, the United States have got to prove, given that Iran just defeated Wales in the match of this group. Certainly no strangers to causing a shock against England, of course, 12 years ago. Yeah, at least frustrated 3 Lions in a 1-1 draw in South Africa. And then perhaps the finest moment in football history, not that sport, of course, in American soccer history, if you will. 1950 when they defeated England 1-0. 2 examples to have faced each other in the world's greatest competition. So England do come into this game having never defeated the United States in the World Cup. They've won 8 of the 11 total meetings. Just come to this tournament and get to victory. Tim Ream now under pressure from Bukayo Saka. Attention towards the half-hour mark. It's a good flick on from Christian Pulisic, and Pulisic just gets in front of John Stones there. He apologetically shows his hand to the referee Valenzuela. It was a tactical foul in the end. It's good play from America coming out of a press from Bukayo Saka. Yunus Musa would have been away there into the defensive area. Of course, John Stones would have been heavily out of position. had he not brought him down. It's one of those tactical fouls that maybe if a card-happy referee could have shown one, but he's kept them in his chest at the moment.
Yeah, he has, absolutely. The first half between Wales and America was, the referee was very card-happy, and there were a few challengers that did pick up yellow cards that necessarily could have, on a different day like today, wouldn't have been given. Like Serginho Dest, I think, sliding on the near side of the pitch, it probably wouldn't have been a yellow card. There are 3 Americans in the first 11, and then Acosta on the bench, who's already got a yellow card, of course, in this competition. That one, yeah, Stones has thought to himself, hasn't he? He's gone, I'm going to try and win this back. If I don't win it, I'm taking him out anyway. So it's going to be one of those tactical ones, as you say. And I suppose trying to break up the Americans, but I think as Mason Mount goes down now holding his face, didn't really look like too much in that one, but the England man gets the challenge against Tyler Adams, should I say, as we see a replay of this one.
Just a slight palm, I think it was Austin McKennie in the end. Goes in, maybe the elbow afterwards. Just glance in the forehead of Mason Mount. The free kick to England in American territory. They've taken it all the way from the left-hand side to the right, with Kieran Trippier now advancing into a danger area, gets the ball in, looking forward. Jude Bellingham, of course, he makes plenty of positive runs into the area as a central midfielder, scoring plenty in the Bundesliga for Borussia Dortmund. Of course, the only England player in this squad to ply his trade outside of the Premier League. All the way back now to Pickford. Looks long. Is ahead of him, namely Raheem Sterling, who hasn't got too much height in him, of course, but neither does Serginho Dest. It is the American fullback to win that header. It's a bit of a scrappy play in midfield with Mason Mount and Tyler Adams. Instead, Weston McKennie can charge forward, trying to get ahead of Declan Rice, who puts his hand on the Juventus midfielder's shoulder. To the edge of the D now, where Yunus Musa is waiting. Further left is Christian Pulisic, one-on-one with Kieran Trippier. Gets the strike away, smashes off of the crossbar. Jordan Pickford was beaten. He looks to his defence. Most likely Kieran Trippier, who didn't really apply any pressure to the Chelsea winger, onto his weaker foot, and it was a pile driver that tried to catch Pickford out on his near post. Couldn't beat the crossbar. Yeah, I think it's more of a surprise than anything that he hits it from there, and I think that catches Trippier a little bit off guard there, and Pickford is scrambling, and it cannons off the woodwork, doesn't it? It's a great effort, maybe a slight fingertip as well from the England goalkeeper, but a cracking effort from Pulisic, quite literally there, but in the end, England a little bit escaping from that. They look a little bit open when Weston McKennie was breaking forward, particularly down that right-hand side. Declan Rice did really well to stay with him, but the problem was nobody was on the edge of the box marking the next man, which was Musa, wasn't it? Between midfield and defence, there is a bit of space for the Americans to exploit. There'll be a concern for Gareth Southgate here. Zimmerman just leaves a bit on Harry Maguire when he goes up for an aerial duel, lands awkwardly on his thigh. Back on his feet though. It's a free kick for England, 40 yards from goal. Of course, we're approaching the time when England did break the deadlock against Iran. 35th minute when Jude Bellingham did find that first goal. It's the Americans that, at the moment at least, seem the ones more likely to get the first goal in this fascinating fixture. Pushing off due studio commentary. 0-0. United States 0. Venezuela behind the display with only Christian Pulisic, the man in the wall. Plenty offering. Well, we've got 4 options here of who should take the free kick. They're all having a chin wagger. Trippier, Saka, Luke Shaw and Mason Mount. Mason Mount and Bukayo Saka are facing the wrong way. It's a 1-2 between Saka and Shaw. Trippier lofts it, looking for Harry Maguire, of course, at that back post, heads it towards danger. Serginho Dest and Haji Wright combination to clear it. Made a bit of a meal of it then in the end, England. Of course, they're always going to look for Harry Maguire. It worked against Iran from corners. Of course, he hit the crossbar himself to Harry Maguire. It's a menace in those scenarios. But, well, obviously, the US have done their homework.
Yeah, absolutely. There were 4 men trying to deceive the American defence, but when your only real, genuine heading option from high lobbing set pieces is Harry Maguire, you know where it's going to go. So it really wasn't deceptive whatsoever. A little bit slack. It was one of those awkward free kicks that it was quite central and difficult to get a good angle, but yeah, a little bit wasteful.
Indeed. Defended strong in this one. Worth mentioning really that when they do face European opposition in the World Cup, they achieved a single clean sheet in any of the last 18 instances. Remarkably, the last time they did against England in 1950, all those years ago.
Yeah, it's one of those, isn't it? Yeah, they are a side that have conceded goals down the years, but when you come up against a side in a so-called derby or a rivalry, things just change, don't they? And things just happen a little bit differently. And against England, it did, and it so far has been a little bit methodical. And the Americans have looked good.
England now trying to penetrate this American defence. Here comes Luke Shaw on the left-hand side. He's got Mason Mount ahead of him. He does find Chelsea midfielder in swing and delivery, looking for the flick on off Jude Bellingham. I don't think he got a touch onto it. He does get in touch here as he heads it towards Raheem Sterling, into Luke Shaw, still in America's penalty area. Mason Mount now hooking it towards the back post where Harry Kane was waiting. It's not the most perfect of deliveries. Instead, American try and garner a counter-attack here. Christian Pulisic will latch onto the quick kick from the goalkeeper. John Stones does brilliantly read that counter and out for a throw-in. The United States didn't qualify for the previous World Cup. They only just about qualified for this one, at least in an automatic sense, when they finished third in the CONCACAF qualification rounds. Same points as Costa Rica. Thanks to a superior goal difference, they did come ahead of Los Ticos, forced them to play a playoff and eventually make their way into the World Cup. They had a terrible first match. They get in there 7-0 against Spain. Still, on the other hand, 1-1 draw against Poland. Canada, unfortunate to lose their match against Belgium. They finished top of that qualification group. Very strong here is Weston McKennie. Tyler Adams. Dropping deep is Timothy Weah. Left-hand side now, where Yunus moves to his weight, and only 19 years of age. Part of a very young squad. The American ranks. They are, in fact, incidentally, the second youngest side at this World Cup. Only Garner, the younger squad. But, looking rather mature at the moment.
Yeah, they're doing really well, aren't they? Christian Pulisic just giving away a handball free kick there in the England half, but their midfield is what's creating this solid opposition, isn't it, against England? They haven't got Wright and Weah into the game at all, and even just then, a couple of moments ago, it was Weah who dropped deep to try and influence the game, because the man who is dropping in is Pulisic, but Weah just hasn't received the ball at all, and he was crucial against Wales in his athleticism and getting in behind, but he's not been able to do that so far, and that's what's limiting both sides in terms of shooting opportunities.
Tyler Adams now riding the challenge of Raheem Sterling. There's an option ahead of him in Timothy Weah. Does well for an American throw-in. His territory, Timothy Weah is over there to take the quick option. He does leave it for Serginho Dest. Of course, Weston McKennie, who will take this throw-in for the US, I should say. That's a long throw option. Well, sometimes see this, don't you, that for clubs at least, they do operate a towel on the touchline. Instead, he uses the bib of the FIFA cameraman to dry his hands. He might be thanking the cameraman later if this does pay off. The long throw, looking for Haji Wright. Cleared via a combination of the two centre-backs of England, John Stones and Harry Maguire. Haji Wright still has it, trying to get past Stones. Well tackled by the City defender. They made a bit of a meal of it, did Maguire and Stones there. It's almost as if both of them wanted to go for the ball at the same time, neither. Yeah, it was a good first header and a good final clearance, but in the end, in the middle, nobody was going for the ball. I don't think Stones, Maguire, nor Wright knew where the ball was, and it was allowed to bounce in the end. A little bit of an unusual situation, but yeah, England under the cosh. Corner of the game for the United States. Christian Pulisic raises one arm, an outswing in delivery, looking for the head of Haji Wright, I think it was, but it was nowhere near an American shirt. It's a comfortable clearance for Harry Maguire in the end. To earn a free kick when Sterling's shirt was pulled. Serginho Dest. Adams preventing the quick free kick taken. Jude Bellingham does eventually pass it back to Pickford. Certainly got a bit more intensity about them of England now. Trying to get that long ball on that wide. Full-backs, all the wingers. The back though with John Stones in the 40th minute now. 5 minutes before we do find out minutes of added time will be awarded. Of course, in the first against Iran, there were 14 added on the first. In the second, it was an entire out of extra time, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunate injuries, substitution, goal celebrations, all that sort of jazz involved, wasn't it? And we've seen a lot of added time in this World Cup, just full stop, never mind injuries.
The chance for America coming forward is Timothy Weah. Maguire can't get anywhere near. He looks for the back post of Christian Pulisic. The crosses haven't really been working for America. Goes towards the Chelsea winger Pulisic. Over his head as well. Here's Harry Kane trying to come forward for England. Good pass forward for Mason Mount. He sees Kayo Saka in space in the centre of the park. Gets past Tyler Adams, Leeds midfielder. Lets him play a wide ball and a loose ball as well in between Bellingham and Luke Shaw. Timothy Weah can come onto this one. Bellingham does well to tackle the American striker. Throwing for United States on the halfway line. It's frustrating for England, really, because America have come back into the game. They've looked positive in the final third of England. When England are coming forward in the final third now, just some of the passes aren't right. Bukayo Saka had a very positive start, didn't he? Finding space on that right wing. He's playing a bit more centrally now. And he's just not getting the rub of the green.
No, absolutely.
As for a lot of England players.
Yeah, I think both sets of fans will be a little bit frustrated as neither one has really found their attackers in the box.
Serginho Dest one-on-one with Harry Maguire into the penalty area, tries to get onto his left foot, gets the shot away. Harry Maguire stands his ground and blocks the shot. It's all too easy for the United States to come forward in between midfield and defence from a throw-in in their own half. A few passes, a nice back heel on Timothy Weah. Serginho Dest is in on Maguire. It's the block in. I think it has gone for a corner. They'll test the England defence yet again. Pulisic over to the other corner on this occasion, an in-swinger, plenty of height. The American ranks Tim Ream and Zimmerman, two centre-backs of course, coming forward. Hadji Wright in there as well. By the height of Gareth Southgate's men. Pulisic swings in to the 6-yard area again, not near anyone of an American persuasion again. Harry Maguire clearing the ball with ease. Pickford very animated with his players yet again. More motivated. Lost their touch in this match. Relatively comfortable in the first 10 or 15 minutes, possession-wise at least. The Holter's men, so they got their stamp on this one. New edge towards half time. And now into Tim Ream, one of two Fulham players, of course. There, Robertson just to Ream's left. Possession from America is Yunus Musa. Into England's half now is Pulisic running at Harry Maguire. Goes back instead for Timothy Weah, who dropped deep and is out to the striker Hadji Wright. Right, Raheem Sterling, so he goes back to Serginho Dest. The chance for him to get the ball into the head of Christian Pulisic. He gets contact on it, not the cleanest of ones from the former Borussia Dortmund man. Again, a ball into the box where someone, a few chances they haven't been able to get on the end of it. This time Pulisic does. So a chance of goal for America.
Yeah, finally they find the head of a blue shirt in the middle of the box. I think in the end it bounces off his shoulder, but it was Musa who was occupying stones, and Pulisic had dropped off Maguire, which meant the Manchester United man couldn't get anywhere near him, and it would have been a very, very good header to have scored from that position. But even still, it's a good position to pick up, and finally the frustration for the Americans has been relieved a little bit in that they've found somebody in the box, because their crosses have been sloppy, haven't they? England on the other side been very sloppy, just like that counter-attack a few moments ago. They're not finding the ball between the defence and the midfield anymore. It's long balls and long balls only at the moment for England.
The flow of the game is proven in the statistics. England have only managed 3 strikes at goal, not on target. Now grabbing twice as many. Looks like a flat for in midfield. There's that thought later as Luke Shaw gets the ball into the back post, looking for Raheem Sterling. In the end, Turner does well to play the ball and throw it quickly out to the right-hand side where Mr. McKennie is waiting. Part of a flat 4, at least on paper, but it's very dynamic formation from America. Yunus Musa, who said, running into that. For the opportunity of Pulisic, dragging John Stones away from the American winger. Loose touch from Anthony Robinson there as well for a cheap England throw-in. Musa, of course, formerly of the Arsenal youth ranks, would have been there at the same time that Bukayo Saka was making his way through the youth teams. American has eventually made his way out to Spain to play for Valencia. Plenty of youth in the American side, plenty of youth in the English team, I should say, but a lot of experience.
Yeah, absolutely. The main youth is in midfield, isn't it? Those attackers, but Bellingham here.
Well, yeah, the youth midfield of Jude Bellingham, marked by Yunus Musa, gets the ball in, cleared by Serginho Dest in the end. Out to Luke Shaw, 1-2 with Raheem Sterling. Luke Shaw tries to get past Serginho Dest and goes into the area, pulls it back to Bukayo Saka. Left-footed strike. He's well marked really by Anthony Robinson, put just about enough pressure on the Arsenal winger. We've said he hasn't got too involved in the last 10 or 20 minutes. He's managed to find a bit of space just on the edge of the 6-yard area to get a shot away. It's a tough one. He's under a lot of pressure from Anthony Robinson, but England finally getting back into the penalty area of America. Brilliant
football, isn't it? Bellingham's cross from the right-hand side is wicked. It's just a shame that Harry Kane wasn't in the right place for England, but it comes out to that left-hand side, and what a run it is from Luke Shaw as well. He gets the ball, but he's very close to Dest. Does a little chop in between his legs and gets past him. Great drive from the England left back and picks up his head and finds a man. In the end, the attacker couldn't stick it home, but it's fantastic work from Shaw down that left-hand side as we only have a minute of added time, Ben.
Full marks for anyone that could have guessed that. in the tournament, that Pierluigi Collina has made it very clear he wants to add on as much time as possible. 60 seconds separate us between time. Harry Kane dropping very deep there, almost in a central defensive midfield role, giving it to his centre backs, but they do come forward quickly. England, Luke Shaw finding acres of space on the left hand side. Raheem Sterling gives a Mason Mount a snapshot into the near post where Matt Turner does very well to make the save. It was hard and low. Turner had to get down very quickly to stop that one. Strike on goal for England. And again, Luke Shaw at the heart of it almost. It was a good ball into the centre of the field for Sterling. Quick football into Mason Mount. Good opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. He gets a good hand on it, doesn't he, Turner? But that was almost the only option for Mason Mount in that position. It was almost orchestrated already by the weight on the pass from it. It's a good strike from Mason Mount. It's almost in the corner. If it was, it might have just snuck past the American goalkeeper. But last chance here in the first half for England from the corner.
Almost in the near post corner, but it will be a corner that will be the end of the action in this first half. Kieran Trippier over to take this one. Plenty of blue shirts back for America. Plenty of white shirts forward for England. It's looked into the 6-yard area, straight into the hands of Matt Turner, much to the frustration of everybody in an England shirt. Maybe last action of the game. Matt Turner does kick it out of play, but the referee has already blown his whistle for a half that maybe has been edged by the Americans. Of course, they've got a point to prove, given that Iran did get their victory earlier against Wales. They've seen a few opportunities at goal. England ended it a bit more positively with that shot from Mason Mount. Still goalless though in this fixture. England 0, United States of America 0.
It's the first half that's really lacked in progress in the final third, but the Americans have had more shots on goal, it has to be said. Christian Pulisic with a left-footed strike which struck Jordan Pickford's bar. Saka and Mount struck with a couple of efforts late in the first half, but it's really lacked promise. Hopefully more and better football in the second half. England 0, USA 0 at half-time. Half-time at the O.A.T Stadium, and it's England 0, USA 0 at half-time. It's the first half that's really lacked in progress in the final third.
We'll leave that one there as it's a warm welcome back to this commentary of England against the United States of America. Second game of Group B for these two sides in this year's 2022 Qatar World Cup. It's 0-0 at half-time, and it was a rather lacklustre first half for the majority of it. Just a few efforts at each other's goal. America coming closest, thanks to the left boot of Christian Pulisic hitting the crossbar. Jude Bellingham goes down early on in the second half, but America bring the ball away through the midfield into Pulisic, back to Musa, out to the left-hand side. The Americans starting quick in this second half. Here's Robinson looking for an early cross, is attempted away from that for the moment as Adams fires one inside. Good turnout from Musa, out to left, back to Robinson again. This is good football from the Americans, clipped inside. Rice with a stooping header and turns it out for a throw-in over on the far side. Jude Bellingham goes straight over to the referee, Valenzuela. Robinson will have the throw-in over on the far side. It's myself, Matt Guy and Ben White alongside me, and there's no changes for either side at half-time, Ben, but hopefully both sides pick up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Obviously we'll be more surprised that England haven't made a change at half-time. You can maybe highlight some areas of improvement on the pitch in terms of where players have been. But for America, for Holton must be delighted really. I know that a win is far more valuable than anything for them going into their last match day, but what he's seen in the first 45 must be so encouraging. They've been really positive in attack, just as they are at the moment, with Pulisic into Robinson, back into Tyler Adams. We'll go back, but any time they've had the ball, it seems they're just trying to strive forward. And yeah, the midfield is so dynamic. It can sort of translate between a 4 and a 3. Musa can go further up if he wants to as well. As for England, a lot needs to improve really. At least given the positive signs against Iran, we're almost thinking about how far can this team go. It's an entirely different game really against America.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not the way that Gareth Southgate will have wanted his side to start the second half either. America just haltering on the ball inside their own half. So I'll run through the two team lineups for you again. Pickford, Trippier, Stones, Maguire, Shaw, Bellingham, Rice, Mount, Saka, Sterling and Kane for England, as Matt Turner is rushed by Mason Mount. He's in the sticks for America. Back four of Dest, Zimmerman, Ream and Robinson. Midfield of McKennie, Adams, Musa and Pulisic, with Weah supporting Hadji Wright up top. Wright was the only change for the two sides coming into today's game. He replaced Norwich's Josh Sargent from their 1-1 draw against Wales in their first game. Here's Luke Shaw on the left-hand side, right on halfway with a throw-in. First look for Declan Rice has eventually been told to hurry up by the referee. Chested down by Sterling, but to nobody. He wins it back though, thanks to a sloppy pass from the Americans. Switched out to the right-hand side. Here's Trippier. Chests it well into the American half. He comes forward with it. Fires it into the feet of Saka. He started the first half brightly. Looks to go down the line. Good intercepted tackle there from Anthony Robinson, and he releases Christian Pulisic here. He's got Wright in front of him on the left-hand side, almost cramping in for room. Can he play it down the line? He can. Here he is up against John Stones, driving into the box, looking for support. Cuts back on his right foot, looking for an option. Strikes towards goal. Blocked away by Stones. Only out to McKennie though. He looks to strike as well, and that one you have to say, as he falls backwards, slips over, falls to the turf, was a really poor effort.
But again, so many bodies of America coming forward. Christian Pulisic at the heart of it. It seems almost when they're transitioning between defence and attack, he's a little bit deeper just to pick up the ball and run with it. And he's got runners on the left and the right. Hadji Wright, maybe the wrong decision in the end to go for goal, because there are options for a pass. Falls out to Weston McKennie. He's had a few strikes from range already. That was probably the worst of the 3 or 4 he's had so far. But they're carrying on how they performed in the first half with a lot of intent to attack.
Yep, absolutely. Jordan Pickford being told by John Stones to flick one out to the right-hand side from his goal kick, but he went long. Harry Kane couldn't keep it, but here's Mason Mount with a good Cruyff turn in midfield. Finds Jude Bellingham looking in front of him, eventually fires it into Sterling's feet. He's pressed by Dest. That's good pressing work from the Americans. This is in a concerning first 4 minutes in this second half for England, but they haven't really had the ball yet to try and create something with. But here comes Saka on the right-hand side against Robinson. Drop back into Trippier. Sterling finding space on the right-hand side. He may have been asked to switch sides in the second half, turns and drives towards the box there as Robinson, just at the last gasp, is able to turn and spot the danger and sprint away to cover it, because that was almost he was almost presented with Sterling with a fantastic opportunity.
Well, it was. I don't know what happened with the left side of America's defence there. They just caught napping because Saka was available for a run as well. I think there was another runner in the centre. But they all just focused on Raheem Sterling, but then all of a sudden he used a bit of ingenuity to get past everybody. Maybe that shows the weakness. We said that fullbacks of America maybe aren't as strong defensively as they are offensively. That was shown there.
Yeah, absolutely. Almost found himself free in the box if it wasn't for Anthony Robinson's last interception. There's Trippier with a quick free kick 5 minutes into this second half. Independent unofficial off-tube studio commentary of England against the United States of America in this World Cup game that kicked off at 7 p.m. Ball turned out to the right-hand side to Kieran Trippier, drops it inside now to Mason Mount, drives forward with the ball, tries to find a pass inside, but it's well cut out by Adams, and a flick down the line is played by Musa. Then it's Pulisic with the ball. Musa continues his run. Here comes the Chelsea man on the ball still, pressed by Trippier. Out to the left it goes, poor control initially, but kept a hold of there by Musa. Eventually it goes out off the toe of Jude Bellingham, says the referee. Jude Bellingham not happy with that decision, and not the first decision he's not being happy with in this second half. It's been a frustrating night so far for the Three Lions. There's Tim Ream searching for a ball forward. Zimmerman with a ball forward. It's really poor though, and just fires it straight out of play on the near side. There were a lot of discussions, I'm sure, up and down the country suggesting that Gareth Southgate potentially should have made a change at half-time. And 6 minutes into the second half, I don't think it's changed either of our minds either, Ben.
Oh no, it hasn't, especially in the attacking department. And there's so many options on the bench. Rashford, Foden, plenty of others. I mean, we're coming forward now with one of the wingers, at least Bukayo Saka. Got acres of space. Maybe a chance for him to get involved in the game. Yeah, perhaps the wrong decision, though, as he goes down the line against Tyler Adams, who pumps his chest in real anger towards his team, saying, come on, let's battle for this one. It's a great tackle from the Leeds man, it has to be said. Saka perhaps a little bit sloppy, and that might catch Gareth Southgate's eye, as he does look to probably make a change at some point in this second half. But it's just not working for England in this game. The Americans have done fantastically well, it has to be said, to keep this game at 0-0 at this stage. Here is Harry Maguire driving forward with the ball, looks to chop a ball square, he gives it away. Here's Zimmerman looking over the top as Luke Shaw just about spotted the danger, put under pressure by Timothy Weah. He's able to pass that one back to Jordan Pickford, but that was a sloppy moment from Harry Maguire, it has to be said. Good ball from Pickford out to the right for Trippier, and he receives a thumbs up from the Newcastle man for it. Dropped off by Mount back into Trippier. Trippier to Declan Rice. Not seeing much of him this evening. There's there's John Stones finding Jude Bellingham. He's not happy with somebody just not calling him. He had a man right on his back there as Kane flicks a ball on towards Mount. That's fortunate, but it falls down to Mount, and once again it's a sloppy touch, and it's gifted away back to Matt Turner. How many times have we seen England in a promising position, but then a poor touch just completely dissipates the momentum? Well, I think it's gone from a great touch in Harry Kane to flicking towards Mount, and then just a poor one after that. Only a few seconds earlier, Bellingham was frustrated at somebody. I don't know who. Maybe it's Declan Rice, just because Bellingham was one more deep. And maybe he didn't get the shout because Tyler Adams was right behind Bellingham, wants to try and dispossess him instead of the Dortmund man trying to bring it forward. There's a coming together between Luke Shaw and Timothy Weah. I'm not really too sure who's come worse off in that one. I think it probably is Weah, with Shaw showing his studs. It's a nasty one for the striker.
I think he does win a little bit of the ball there, Luke Shaw, with his heel, but certainly the studs catches the top of the foot of Timothy Weah, and we know with modern boots there's not much protection, is there? So that will certainly be a sore one. I don't think anything more will come of that one, but Luke Shaw just a little bit sloppy in that tackle, not quite winning the ball cleanly, but perhaps a good little break here for England. 8.5 minutes into the second half. There will be a little break just to see that Weah and Shaw are okay. There will be a little bit of a drinks break. The referee has stopped the game, and just a chance for England to reset, because something is needed.
Well, something's definitely needed. I think in the game yesterday of Portugal-Ghana, after about 3 minutes into the second half, Fernando Santos wanted to make a change. I'm wondering why Southgate hasn't really, because we've seen 9 minutes now. It's sort of improved in terms of the first 45 and this one. Even just sort of possession style, because England started the first half more comfortable in possession. We've seen a lot more of the ball since then, including in this second period. They're going to try and just pass it around the back at the moment. From left to right of defence are the Three Lions, with Saka providing the layoff for Trippier. Just to get a feel for the ball again. It's almost as if a different game for England, given how they started. A bit of space for Luke Shaw to come forward here. Harry Kane's very deep, but well, a bit of space now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really good from Luke Shaw that to drive inside and provide that space, but the Americans drop back into position really well. There's Mason Mount chopping one way and then the other against Serginho Dest, who covers off really well and forces the England man to go back towards defence, and John Stones can bring it out from the back now, but he just plays it short into Kieran Trippier. Now inside to Rice, looking forward. He's putting his arms out to say there's no movement in front of me. How can I find somebody? Finds it out to Trippier in the end on the right hand side. His first control is poor, but plays the ball back into John Stones, and there's just no movement, it looks like, but that's a good ball from Stones into Saka. He's able to turn past Musa. There's Trippier, goes down the line, another sloppy pass, can't find Bellingham, looks up to the skies in frustration there, does the youngster. Didn't receive the ball, receives apologies now from Kieran Trippier as England take that throw in quickly back to John Stones, looking for a switch now out to the left hand side. Good position taken up by Luke Shaw, chest it down right in front of him. There's Mason Mount's short option. Sterling's just inside, he's not received that one. Sterling, here's Rice instead. He looks out to the right hand side. There is a free man once again. It's whether they chop it in behind now. Stones looking for that ball. Really poor ball though. Headed forward by Stones again as Harry Kane can't control. Here's Pulisic looking to drive from deep up against Saka. Gets a good foot on that, does the Arsenal man, but the referee says no. Free kick pulled back for the previous effort. Maybe Pulisic was pulled.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Matt, because he does get the ball, but it's probably what happens just a few seconds earlier. Pulisic was already past Saka is the issue. It's a clean tackle, but obviously with Pulisic, he's tried so often in this game already, just bringing the ball forward from their own half or the halfway line into the final third of England. So Saka was just trying to stop it at any means necessary. Gets the ball, but gives the tug before that. Yeah,
absolutely. Just a little sloppy one, getting on the wrong side of Christian Pulisic there, allowing the American to just dribble away from him. There's no more pace in the game that there was in the first half. It's all rather methodical, doesn't really burst into too much life, but anything can happen, can't it, in World Cup football? Possession slightly England's favour, 53%. The stat pops up on our screen, so a little bit less than perhaps in the first half. The Americans experienced some joy on the ball in the second. Here's Anthony Robinson, chops one inside to Musa, good ball as well, finds some space, whips it out to the right. Here's McKennie looking down the line, plays it first time into Weah. Weah looks to cut one back towards the penalty spot. Really good covering from Jude Bellingham. Turns that one away. Then long ball forward for England. Kane can't win the header. Adams has to recover and just fires it back to his goalkeeper. But once again, crucial defensive work from the England midfield because America were in behind.
A better ball, and there was a chance for, I think it was Yunus Musa who just said there, to latch on to that strike, with the exception there from Raheem Sterling, just trying to get England forward. Very comfortable on the ball, and yet when they do break that England back line, there's always that threat. Players scrambling back for Gareth Southgate. Solid interception in the end, but the warning signs are there as they have been on many other instances, especially in the first half.
Yep, absolutely. 57.5 minutes into this game now, still no substitutions, plenty of options for both sides off the bench, but here comes Tim Ream with the ball for America. Down the line he goes, great turn by Pulisic, looking down the line for Robinson, chops inside instead. There's McKennie as an option, looks to shoot himself, little bit greedy. Pickford scrambling to try and prevent the corner, but he couldn't quite do so, and rightly so. We see it a lot, you mentioned it in the first half, an animated Jordan Pickford. He needs to scream at these players in front of him to just switch on. They're completely switched off at the moment.
Pulisic is on the ball there, and I know that Stones has obviously got to keep his position, but he's just watching Pulisic make further advances. I think in the end it's Declan Rice to get the block in. But he's already tried to strike from relative range, Pulisic. He was on the edge of the area, wasn't it? His left-footed strike that hit the crossbar. But he's certainly capable. They're playing into the American fans behind that goal now, are the States. It's a corner for them.
Yep, in-swinging corner from Pulisic in towards this. I tell you what, that ever so close. Harry Maguire with a fantastic header in there as Musa is adjudged to have fouled Jude Bellingham on the near side. Linesman put his flag up, but that for ever so slight a second, it looked as though it was a free header at the far post, but for Harry Maguire.
And it looked like it was just going to go over his head. He's backpedaling his Maguire, full stretch, and full credit to him. It's a great clearance. He's already had quite a few in the first 45 from balls into the box by him. I think every corner from America has ended up on Harry Maguire's head. But that one's the most crucial of any so far.
Yeah, Zimmerman flying at the back post. I would love to know who was marking him. I think I know the answer, and that it was absolutely nobody. Zimmerman there had the freedom of northern Qatar there, as it's headed on from Tyler Adams down the left-hand side, accidentally chested on by Pulisic to Anthony Robinson, but here come the Americans, another good-looking ball in towards the front of Harry Maguire there, but it comes off John Stones in another corner.
And where's this ball going now? Because Zimmerman, he made a good run, unmarked. Someone's got to pick him up on this occasion, at least. It seems that Maguire's sort of got a free defensive role in corners, just on that 6-yard line to clear the balls, which has worked so far. But if they're going to keep getting corners, one's going to be different than the previous, and maybe for England, you've got to be careful it doesn't prove fatal. Yeah,
absolutely. Maguire free on the edge of the box here, looking at Zimmerman and Tim Ream. Ream marked by Trippier. This time I think Declan Rice was marking Zimmerman. Here's Pulisic into the 6-yard box. Once again, good header from Maguire, but a scrambled one. Tim Ream puts it back into the box. There's McKennie jumping for it. Luke Shaw wins it. Saka puts a foot in. Fortunately gets a foot on the ball. There's Pulisic going down the line as Harry Kane comes across. I tell you what, that was one of those 50-50 challenges. He had to win that, the England captain.
It was that heavy of a touch from Pulisic that you saw straight away. There's a foot race between him and Harry Kane, and they were always going to come together. It was just about whether Harry Kane could get the ball, which he did to full effect. Clean tackle, wonderful tackle really. But yet another corner for America, the 5th of the game. England have only had 2.
Yeah, and it's been Maguire that's had to drag England out of these difficult situations twice in a row. Can he do it a third? Another cross into the 6-yard box. He can do it again. Maguire, this time he goes down. No free kick for now. Tim Ream, great ball out to the left-hand side. Pulisic is free. Touches it down inside the box. Right foot, chops it to his left. Harry Kane. Fantastic defending from the England captain. He's had Pulisic on his heels once again. Cuts it down the line. Great work from the England captain to drag his team forward, but they give it away here. Adams has to drop the ball to Weah. Now it comes out to Musa on the right-hand side, chops it into the centre circle, and the game is calmed down a little bit more. But this second half has completely been dominated by the Americans. England have to make a change.
This has been unbelievable pressure from America. I mean, it only takes a few corners just to get the panic button almost in reach. And I think it has been literally every time that Harry Maguire's got his head. It's fantastic defending from him on every single occasion. And then the other Harry as well, Harry Kane, in the last two corner set piece routines at least. He's had to dispossess someone on that far side in an American shirt. So at least from what we've seen at the moment, it's just those two that are keeping England in the game in terms of the threat that America bring forward from these crosses. Yeah,
absolutely. Plenty of critics, of course, for Harry Maguire down the last couple of years, but he has been crucial to England today. Southgate's had his critics in not making changes early enough in games, and he'll certainly have those critics talking again. But there's Dest cutting inside to Pulisic, deflected shot going forward. Maguire just about gets ahead on that one before Wright can get to it. That was another crucial interception from Harry Maguire. This time it's Mason Mount battling against Tyler Adams. Those two have been at it all night, and this time it's the Leeds man who wins the free kick. America on the halfway, battling once again.
We're not probably going to see a replay of it, but I'd love to see if Haji Wright was onside from that strike of Pulisic, because it would just make the interception by Harry Maguire even more crucial. With his head again, it almost bounces over him into the path of Wright, and all of a sudden he's got a clear chance at goal on Pickford. But this is dominant from America. England really backs to the wall at the moment. It's a free kick for America. They've gone short with it, but there's bodies coming forward. Taking the time on this one then.
Yeah, they're not expected to win this game, America, and that shows in the joy of their fans in the stadium as we see shots of them, independent, unofficial, off-tube studio commentary coming your way. And Musa and Weah have forced 8 turnovers already in this game, winning the ball back so many times off England, and that is causing the jubilation in the crowd for the Americans. Whose ball is that? It's another America corner over on the far side. That one protested by John Stones, but nonetheless he has to get back into the box, reorganise and help his centre-half partner out.
I think it just about is a corner. I don't think it came back off of the American, but Pulisic walking over yet again for an in-swinger. All of the corners in the second half have been from that quadrant. All swung into exactly the same area. The 6-yard box is clear that Gareth Southgate has wanted Harry Maguire there as his greatest aerial showcase almost to clear it away. Certainly corners that England can withstand.
Yeah, absolutely. Once again, Pulisic from that far side. There's 5 England men in around the 6-yard box. It's Pulisic's ball in towards the far post. Pickford reaching for it, and Zimmerman was ever so close to getting to that one once again. Fortunately for England, it flashes in front of him.
Pickford obviously got a touch, didn't he? He's run to the near post, Pickford, when the ball's already in the air and he realises it's going to go over him. It's a fingertip that it might not have reached Zimmerman, but there's no need for Pickford to do that. It's his own error almost for rushing to the near post when the ball's taken. It's going to be on the near side this time for Pulisic. He's almost animating the American faithful in the stands. They've been full of voice to motivate the team so far. Yet another corner.
Yeah, this time the outswinger from Pulisic. There's lots of American bodies in there. Whip to the front post, almost flicked on, but a good England head gets the ball away. There's Sterling battling up against Dest. Experience would say he's going to win a free kick here, and yes, he does win a free kick. Referee adjudging Dest to have done too much in terms of pressure on the England man. 64.5 minutes played in this one, and this second half, England have really been on the back foot and have Harry Maguire to thank for them still being level in this game. England 0, USA 0. And it looks as though Gareth Southgate may be turning to the experience of Jordan Henderson from the bench, the vice-captain, of course, in this side. And he's not surprised that they need another body in there.
Oh, yeah, but could it have come sooner? We're 20 minutes into the first half, and it's not as if there haven't been stoppages. There's been a chance at, how many corners were there? There could have been so many chances to bring a player on. But there's the cliche, of course, you don't bring on a defender when you're defending a corner. But a change has had to be made. It's just incessant pressure from America, and it's the right decision to bring on an extra man in midfield. It'll just be interesting to see who comes up. Yeah,
I think a couple of changes could be the way to go. I don't think Saka, Mount nor Sterling have really done anything in this second half. Harry Kane, of course, you keep up top, but looks as though maybe Jack Grealish as well. He's a man that likes to hang on to the ball and commit defenders, doesn't he? So dragging the team forward from midfield, as we saw him do so many times for Aston Villa during his days there. But here's Bellingham down the right-hand side, bursting room forward, looks to cut one back. There's Tyler Adams with a swinging left boot to turn that one away from Harry Kane. Jude Bellingham dragging England forward. There's Harry Kane looking down the right for Saka, like right foot across to come into the near post. But because Harry Kane played the pass before, he's not the man lurking there.
It's always Harry Kane's vision, isn't it? He just sort of holds the ball up, waits for the runners of the wingers, and he's just got that passing ability. That it's a simple ball in theory, but it needs to be bang on the money to get Saka in there. As you say, if he's the one not making that pass, then he's always going to be in the box to get on the end of it. It wasn't there. Sterling was out on the back post, so the ball wasn't right. You're absolutely spot on here, Matt. Both Jack Grealish and Jordan Henderson are going to come on. So, perhaps an extra man in midfield, but definitely a change in the final third as well.
Yep, absolutely. I would expect probably Mason Mount to come off and Henderson to come on for him, and then just sit in a bank of three and probably say to Jude Bellingham, you get forward out of those three midfielders, and then perhaps a change of Saka and or Sterling for Grealish, and if there's another man to come on in this game, should it still remain level. England 0, USA 0, and here's Timothy Weah down the right-hand side for the United States. Played inside by McKennie. Poor touch by Musa as he tried a little bit of skill there, gave the ball away to Declan Rice, who just hoofs it left-footed down the left-hand side, and Zimmerman flicks it back to his goalkeeper. Every time Ream and Zimmerman get the ball in this second half, it's right on halfway, because they've got England really pegged back, as it looks as though they may have changed into a flat midfield four here, England. Mount up top alongside Kane, Sterling on the left, Saka on the right.
Well, and if Mount is to then come off, does that change yet again?
Yeah.
The change has been clearly made, maybe just to see them until the substitutions come on. America want to keep this ball in play for as long as possible, really, because they've highlighted the weakness in the formation of England clearly. It's a loose ball from Tyler Adams, launched forward by Tim Ream. Will either go for a goal kick, but Jordan Pickford does leave it to about for a goal kick, and finally Gareth Southgate can make these changes. Yeah, absolutely. Jordan Pickford taking his time from this goal kick, then just going to have a word, I think, with John Stones at the back, and Jordan Henderson right in front of the manager, as it looks as though Raheem Sterling is going to be the first man to come off for Jack Grealish, so that's a like-for-like change on the flanks. And we shall see Jude Bellingham to come off. That's a like-for-like change as well. Well, it is a like-for-like, but obviously Bellingham goes forward so often. Yeah. What is that? Maybe Rice gets a bit more freedom going ahead now, and Henderson could be the pivot. He's rallying instructions to Mason Mount, of course, who we thought might have been the one to come off. He's going to stay on the pitch. It's Bellingham that goes off, just to the surprise of many. Gets the handshake from all the staff and the players on the bench. England do get it underway again, but until they come forward into the American half, we won't really see what sort of shape this means. No, I'm very surprised by that as well, but we have crossed over the three-quarter mark of this game, so a chance to pass over to you, Ben. Hopefully, as I said in the first half, the first goal of the game to come. Perhaps here as Luke Shaw gets into America's penalty area, looking for the back post where Harry Kane was ready to pounce. Cleared by Zimmerman. Jordan Henderson's first touch into Declan Rice, back to John Stones, into Henderson again, who was always, he's clearly going to want to see a lot of this ball. Spraying out to the right and left, he goes right to Kieran Trippier, into Bukayo Saka now. Harry Kane holding it up under the pressure of Tim Ream, tries to loft it back into Saka. Well blocked by Yunus Musa. An American come forward again, ball over the top from Christian Pulisic. And it's still goalless in this game, but the second half has had so much intrigue, so much jeopardy about it. It's a thrilling one as far as goalless matches go. Where do England go from here? They made the changes. Jordan Henderson's obviously going to want to see a lot of the ball now, but what an intriguing 20 minutes we have left.
Yeah, I think it looks like a 4-3-3. Rice sitting deep and Henderson on the right-hand side. Of course, we see it for Liverpool. He overlaps against Mo Salah, and that allows the Egyptian to cut inside. Maybe Southgate is wanting Saka on the ball inside a little bit more. Not sure, but here comes Grealish.
Here's Grealish's first involvement. A chance to run at Serginho Dest. Ball at his feet, cut inside to his right, then his left, back out to his right, under the challenge of Weston McKennie. Too much contact on it from the Juventus midfielder. Back into American possession, back all the way now to Matt Turner. He lumps it as far as he can towards the halfway line. Timothy Weah under the pressure of Harry Maguire. That was Haji Wright. I think the referee might have given a free kick against the Manchester United centre-back, or Rodriguez shirt pull. Tyler Adams does take very quickly. Mentioned, of course, America's qualification phase. England, they did remain unbeaten in the O.A.T qualification campaign, winning 8 matches of their 10, drawing the other 2, scoring the most out of any team in the entire O.A.T Confederation with 39 goals from those 10 matches. Of course, when you have teams in your group like San Marino and Andorra, that does help. Tyler Adams under the pressure there, he does well really to give it out to the right-hand side for Serginho Dest, and despite scoring so many goals in qualification and 6 in their first World Cup match, really had a sniff in the second half at least, 1 or 2 in the first half. But chalk and cheese really in the 2 games.
Yeah, absolutely. No similarity between the two whatsoever. This is more similar to the UEFA Nations League games, isn't it? In the fact that it's just a little bit lacklustre, and England not really pushing forward. We spoke, of course, there were a number of odd timings, shall we say, for when those UEFA Nations League games were played. This being mid-season, everyone was saying every player would be fit and fresh and ready mid-season and coming into the game, the tournament with some form, and we've seen a number of players with that. But England just flattered to deceive. Really, today, it has to be said, America's just having a quick break now on this near side of the field. But just having a look when America just had the ball, then I think, just given the fact that Weston McKennie has been wide on this right-hand side a lot, Henderson and Mount have been told to push up as high as possible on Musa and Adams to stop them getting the ball and influencing the game.
Very likely. We've seen pictures in the feed that the England fans just trying to rally their team. There's plenty that have made their way to the Arabian Peninsula. I mentioned they did score 39 goals in qualification. They only conceded 3 in those 10 games. Of course, the clean sheet still intact at the moment, but not through a lack of American trying. Christian Pulisic, of course, battling the crossbar in the first half. He's had a few chances in the second. To the box from corner kicks that Harry Maguire, who is on the ball at the moment, to John Stones, has been towering in this defence, preventing any set-piece opportunities to come to Greg Berhalter's men. Here's Mason Mount now into America's half. Jack Grealish, who, well, he wins so many free kicks, doesn't he, for Manchester City, previously Aston Villa and England as well, just holding on to the ball. Serginho Dest doesn't really need to make the challenge. He's just holding on to his arm. It'll slow the game down, which might work in England's favour, given the relentless nature of America's tactics. But well, maybe that's why Grealish has been brought on as well, just try and slow the pace down. He's on the ball again, to the left-hand side where Mason Mount is. Good 1-2 back into the City midfielder, into Harry Kane, who tries to get past the combination of Yunus Musa and Tyler Adams. Well defended by the 2, but well defended then by Harry Maguire, and England can come forward again. 20 yards from goal on this near side with Jack Grealish. Tries the through ball to Mason Mount, bounces kindly to Luke Shaw, to Jordan Henderson. Now they will go back to Declan Rice, still in American territory. Good spell of possession from England. So little of it in this second period, which is nearing already half an hour. 74th minute. Changes have been made, but I think what has been so absent is the dominance in the wings of England, with Bukayo Saka and Raheem Sterling. Of course, Sterling's now gone off. Grealish has come on. It's only a matter of minutes before Saka's replaced.
Yeah, I think perhaps Rashford or Foden will be looked to, won't they, up top to just bring some pace in behind perhaps of this defence. But Grealish has been good from the back. There's a really poor ball forward from John Stones, just going through all the way to Matt Turner. But Grealish has been good. He's, as you said, he wins fouls. He's committed men already in this game and almost won free kicks and the like, and he's looking positive on that left-hand side, and he's trying to link up really well with Mason Mount and Luke Shaw already, and it's a clear ploy from Southgate to try and look to him to create something in this final 60 minutes or so in this game. But yeah, it's still wide open for either side.
It's Weston McKennie now in English territory, looks forward for Christian Pulisic, has come central yet again. Harry Maguire, very good tackle from behind, dispossess the Chelsea winger and get England going again. Jack Grealish, centre of the park now, past the halfway line, out onto the left where Mason Mount is. He's seen so much of the ball on this left wing. The Chelsea midfielder, Luke Shaw, offering some help back into Mount and again into Luke Shaw. Three American defenders, and then go backwards to Declan Rice. He spreads it to the far side. Trippier, the one waiting for it, brings it down, but again they have to go backwards. Been impressive in attack of America, but also in defence. They are defending it. It's the most simple of two banks of 4-4-2. Everyone behind the ball, forcing England to go back at every opportunity, and so often they're forced to go wide to the fullbacks. Jordan Henderson there out wide, as Matt said, so often does, responsibility-wise for Liverpool. Left now with Mason Mount, and again it's just recycling the ball from left to right. It looks like Greg Berhalter's going to make his first change. Brendan Aronson of Leeds, the number 11, who will come on shortly before England try and come forward yet again. Here's Kieran Trippier. Jordan Henderson with the overlap. Good ball into Bukayo Saka, getting into the penalty area. It's a good tackle from Anthony Robinson. He's going to lump it forward towards Haji Wright. Second ball comes to Harry Kane. Good pressure from the Three Lions. Harry Kane now out towards the edge of the area. Through ball into Bukayo Saka. Has he kept his run onside? Well, it doesn't matter now. I think the flag has gone up eventually for offside, but Tim Ream cleared the ball back into Saka. Going to make this change now for the United States. And Brendan Aronson will come on. He's having a relatively impressive season with Leeds. Of course, managed by another American in Jesse Marsh. They won't only be those that make a substitution. England will, of course, as well. We only mentioned a few minutes ago it might be the end of the match for Bukayo Saka. Remains to be seen yet, but what is certain is that Marcus Rashford will come on for Weston McKennie, who arguably has had the best chance of the game in the first half. Just peeling off his marker in the area. Should have kept his shot down, he didn't. He's going to be replaced by Brendan Aronson. Yet seen who will come off for Gareth Southgate's men. In fact, America are going to make another change. The number 18, Shaquille Moore, come on, playing his trade for Nashville in the MLS, fullback by trade. And well, there you go, he'll come on like-for-like substitution for Serginho Dest.
Well, two on the right-hand side, isn't it? McKennie was on that right-hand side, and Dest on the right-hand side, so completely replacing that with Grealish coming on. That he's already identified Grealish's threat in this second half, hasn't he, Greg Berhalter? So two changes for America and another change for England to come as well, although Serginho Dest is not happy.
No, he's not happy, but obviously Greg Berhalter's seen something to warrant two changes on that side of the pitch. As we did say, will be Bukayo Saka, the 19-year-old, has ran his race for this evening. On comes Marcus Rashford, of course. Rashford scored only mere minutes after coming on the opening group stage game against Iran. Bukayo Saka did get 2 goals in that fixture as well, scoring at the moment. Top scorer in the tournament. Harry Kane yet to find a goal, of course, the holding Golden Boot winner the previous World Cup. Forward by Matt Turner, again onto the head. Harry Maguire, it's almost as if he got a magnet to the ball. Just fall back into American feet with Anthony Robinson on the left side, flicks it further forward for Christian Pulisic. Acres of space for the Chelsea winger. He clambers back, very more central for, well, originally Yunus Musa, but Tyler Adams picks up some of the pieces. Christian Pulisic gets into the area, looks to feed, I think it was Haji Wright, but it's an overcooked pass. Yet again, all too easy that America get into the penalty area.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a little bit sloppy, wasn't it, from Trippier? And as you said, he was clambering back. He just really wasn't working for him. And America cut England's defence open quite easily there. Yeah, just thinking of those changes. Then Rashford as well coming onto the field. You mentioned Saka's 2 goals in the first game. This has been completely the opposite. It's not been his night whatsoever. He's tried. Don't get me wrong. He's tried, but his control of the ball has just not been up to it, and every single time he has received it, an American defender's been right on his back. So Potentially those long balls in behind for Rashford down that right-hand side might be an option that England go to now in these final 11 minutes of the game or so. But smart as well from Greg Berhalter, changing these two men on the right-hand side as Grealish picks up the ball. He's instantly tackled by Shaq Moore.
Well, in the opinion of Jesus Valenzuela, it was an illegal interception by Shaquille Moore. A bit of afters between the American recent substitutes and Jack Grealish. Handbags in the end, really. England have made 3 substitutions, 2 left at their disposal, but I think 10 minutes left to go off normal time in this one. America, of course, only made 2 changes only recently as well. It's clear that Greg Berhalter has been so happy with the shape of his side throughout this match. But England try and break that shape now with Mason Mount. Tackle by Brendan Aronson. Zimmerman was out of position. It was well tracked by the Leeds winger. Can America try and come forward? It's Timothy Weah, and what a game that Harry Maguire is having. He's just pulled up, holding his well, it maybe in his hamstring, but he's just charged back into the back line. What a game he is having. He's certainly been England's standout player, with his head, with his feet, with reading balls forward from America. Come forward again here, Shaquille Moore running down the touchline. Back for Timothy Weah, striker who's dropped deep throughout this game, with Haji Wright being more of the reference point. But you were almost at a round of applause then for Harry Maguire. It has been a fantastic game for him.
Yeah, it's he or one of the American midfielders that's up for man of the match today, absolutely. I would have potentially gone with Weston McKennie, but he's gone off the field now, so that perhaps puts a dent in that as England look to try and break forward, and another really poor pass gives it away as Harry Kane is having to drop deep once again. But Harry Maguire, what a fantastic performance in this 80 minutes so far.
So many that would back him in what has been a difficult year or 2 for him. Always believed that he would eventually prove doubters wrong on the World Cup stage for England. Here's Mason Mount, 30 yards out is Harry Kane, still relatively deep. He gets it out onto the wing where Kieran Trippier's waiting. He checks back instead of getting the ball in. Getting the ball in does that. Jordan Henderson looking for either Jack Grealish or Harry Kane. Matt Turner does well to use his height advantage and his reachability to get onto that ball. It's not the best of deliveries from Jordan Henderson, but at least he got the ball in. Because you're looking at Kieran Trippier, who has such a wicked delivery on him. Maybe it's more due to the fact that America are getting their bodies back so often to prevent balls into the box. But more of a praise for America than maybe lack of talent from England when they want to get the ball to the box. Anyway, America come forward yet again. It's end-to-end stuff in these final 10 minutes. Independent unofficial off-tube studio commentary. Shaquille Moore into Timothy Weah, back into America's recent substitute, into the other one, Brendan Aronson, back into Moore. Timothy Weah, triangle football between the 3 Americans, well intercepted by Luke Shaw. I guess the added bonus from Jesus Valenzuela to win. Free kick for England, just on the edge of their own penalty box. Well, there will be another substitution made. We'll see whether it is for England or the United States. It is for the latter. Timothy Weah coming off with his father, of course, the President of Liberia. A round of applause from the stands. Well, in his place, well, it's a double substitution. Both strikers of America, Timothy Weah and Haji Wright, coming off. Giovanni Reina, Josh Sargent. Giovanni Reina as well is got famous father, Claudio Reina, American talent. Who, you know that Giovanni Reina was born in Sunderland, no less, than when his father was playing for the Black Cats. Imagine Jordan Pickford in his young age will have been watching Giovanni Reina's father as a supporter of Sunderland. Nevertheless, they are both on for what is now 4 changes for Greg Berhalter. Whole new front line for Americans. Josh Sargent still of Norwich in the Championship. Giovanni Reina, another talent, another American talent that is coming through Borussia Dortmund, of course, after Christian Pulisic. Plenty of England talents coming through the German side as well. Sancho, of course, shining brightly in the Bundesliga. Jude Bellingham to brightly for the Schwarzgelben, the German division. Shaquille Moore now in his own half, but plenty of space to run forward. Instead, he looks down the line for Josh Sargent, well intercepted by Luke Shaw, and it gives him license to run forward to Jack Grealish. He goes down under the challenge of Shaquille Moore. Moore's come on to try and deal with Grealish. There's been 1 or 2 coming together between them. It'll be an interesting battle between the 2 of those in the minutes that remain. So Grealish's responsibility is to win so many free kicks, but the fresh legs of Moore at the moment is struggling.
Yeah, absolutely. Grealish has been shut up a little bit since that change, but even still, he's just got that uncanny knack of winning free kicks. He didn't even do anything in that. He just controlled the ball and got wiped out. Eden Hazard's like that. Wilfred Zaha's like that. Some players seem to win free kicks, and he is one of those. And perhaps a set piece is where England may get a winner from. We've got 6 or so minutes left in this game. Not being good in the second half whatsoever. America have been the better team, but you never know. A snatch and grab.
Well, it is a deep free kick. It is a good chance for sure to whip a ball into many of the bodies that are forward for England. It's looking for Harry Maguire. Well cleared by Tim Ream. Christian Pulisic trying to clear it even further. I think he's won a free kick in the end. Shoved over. Wow, he did make that clearance. Respite. There's only 5 minutes of normal time left in this one. Of course, you'd assume that so often in matches, the second half will more minutes added on than the first, especially given we're already given 60 seconds the first period.
Yeah, if you're thinking 30 seconds per substitution, well, something like that as well, 3.5 minutes in that sense.
Yeah, and there hasn't been too many delays. I think there was a little break in play about 20 minutes ago, and the American players ran over to have a quick drink, but outside of that, very little stoppages in what really has been a pulsating, at this stage, goalless draw. Of course, as the neutrals will be begging for one to find the back of the net. Certainly a match that has been full of intrigue. Here's Harry Maguire, England's best player this evening, into Declan Rice. Still is that sort of pivot in midfield. It's a loose ball from him. It's just, of course, there's no American player to latch onto that one, but it just forces John Stones to track back, and England have to essentially go again. Pickford's trying to get it into Luke Shaw. He's giving it back into Pickford. Loose balls like that are going to be music to the ears of the Americans as the seconds tick by. Of course, they'll want a winner. If America were to find a winner, it'd be a remarkable scenario going into the final match day. England would be on 3 points, America would be on 3 points, Iran would be on 3 points. There's only one match left to go. I'm not saying that is going to happen, but there's certainly the possibility of it. Yeah,
absolutely. And that pass from Declan Rice sums up England's night. It's been really sloppy, and it's those little passes that they just add up if you get them correct. They just start adding up, and it builds momentum, and that's, of course, what Barcelona built tiki-taka on, isn't it? 5-yard passes that just go to the correct man, 90+% passing accuracy, and it just feeds into confidence, and then your next shot's likely to be caught quicker as well.
Good ball from Harry Kane. I think Marcus Rashford has stayed onside. A chance for him to run at the defence for the first time. Into Jack Grealish, once again marked by Shaquille Moore. Good back heel from Grealish into Rashford. A bit of space on this left-hand side. Goes for the far post. It's a poor effort. Only the second shot on goal for England. 6 in total. They only had 13 in their match against Iran. They were very efficient with those. The 7 on target. They did find 6 goals. They just lacked something in attack. Can't quite put your finger on why, because it was unchanged side. Yep. Of course, in the previous match against Iran. It just shows that Holton's really done his homework.
Yeah, all credit to America. They've been fantastic, and just looking at that previous Marcus Rashford effort, he's looked to curl one into the far corner. It's just really weak. We so often see him try to absolutely smash a knuckleball, don't we? And it looked like an opportunity where he could have perhaps done that and caused a little bit of deception in the air as the ball travelled towards the goalkeeper, but he just curls it rather tamely, and that sums up England's night once again. Aronson, does really well to just drive inside off that left flank and gives the ball to Musa now, and him and Adams have just been a brilliant pivot tonight for America. They've been so solid in defence, but just passed the ball neatly.
Certainly. There's a lot of plaudits after this performance of America. Chance for Harry Maguire to come forward here from the loose ball by Brendan Aronson. Looks for Harry Kane. Foot race between him and Zimmerman. Zimmerman does well in the end under the pressure of the Spurs man to give it back into Matt Turner. A chance for America to come forward instead. Mason Mount, good pressing from him, running all the way from right back to the goalkeeper. It's an interesting one from Matt Turner, running all the way out of his own penalty area, still under the pressure of Mason Mount. Leads his bluff almost, and America can come forward now with Josh Sargent on the left hand side, cutting in on the right foot. Here's Christian Pulisic on the edge of the D. Brendan Aronson out wide too. Shaquille Moore, a chance for him to get the ball into the box, cuts it back looking for Giovanni Reina. Doesn't get to him. It's the wrong option really. He should have got the ball in first time there more, because England were backpedaling.
Yeah, had to whip it front post. Pulisic was on the shoulder of the last man, wasn't he? By the time he'd taken a touch, Pulisic would have been offside and not in a correct position. Just chuckling about that Matt Turner dribble out from the back. It was almost like an old Tom Brady dribbling out with the ball, wasn't it? Very slow, very laboured quarterback work, but he did the job absolutely perfectly. And I tell you what, we've got a minute of normal time to go. At this stage, there's only one team winning this.
There It really is on the balance of play. Certainly already see a lot more drama unfolding in this one, especially if we get quite a lot of added time given. Find that out shortly. So as it stands, still England 0, United States of America 0. The Americans just passing it around the back at the moment, forcing Jordan Henderson to come forward. Good pressure by the England vice-captain and Liverpool captain. And as is Marcus Rashford, and Tim Ream just about got away with that one. You've got to give credit to the Fulham centre-back. Just about gets it to the midfield of America. A bit of pressure has just caused America to panic a little bit. So yeah, Henderson's had his feet swept from underneath him. It's a free kick for England. Jesus Valenzuela, he could have a reason to get his yellow card out here. I don't think he will. Christian Pulisic just kicks the calves of Jordan Henderson. He had to go through Henderson to get the ball, which is just rash anyway. And they take it quickly to England. Here's Jordan Henderson, a chance to get the ball into the far post. Shaquille Moore heads it. No risks taken from him. It goes out for a corner.
Taken 90 minutes, but finally some urgency from England. Henderson and Rashford pushing forward before pressing and forcing the Americans into a mistake. And then a quick free kick came out of nowhere. 4 minutes of added time. 4 minutes for a final goal, perhaps, in this game. Trippier will come forward for this corner kick towards the side where there's more England fans. Finally, England have some sort of momentum.
Some momentum indeed. Will the deadlock be broken in these final? Well, now only 3.5 minutes. Trippier by the just to get the ball inside the quadrant. Kane, Maguire, Stones, Grealish, Rashford and Declan Rice in the box. Mason Mount waiting on the edge of the area. It will be Trippier to whip it in, looking for Harry Maguire, gets his head onto it. He heads it into the ground, which takes all of the pace out of it. For a second it looked like Harry Kane was ready to pounce onto that one. Almost gave up on the chance. In the end, goes kindly into the hands of Matt Turner. Yeah, the Americans just did just enough, didn't they? Tim Ream put him off in front. There was another man backing into Harry Maguire. And I think he may have even caught his nose on the man in front of him as he's headed the ball downwards. But yeah, it was almost, but not quite for England. 91 minutes gone in this game. The Americans playing out from the back. Out from the back and out wide to Brendan Aronson. He does again to his defence, to Zimmerman. Shaquille Moore now. It's a bit more narrow. The width of Giovanni Reina has come into play. One of his first few touches since coming on. It's a loose ball from Zimmerman, intercepted well by Jack Grealish, and if he can get this further forward, it'll be a numerical even. It was almost a 3-on-3 scenario there, but he does, just as he always does, Jack Grealish. He was running back to his own goal, but he was shoved over by Yunus Musa. It's a great play from Grealish in the end. Very mature, because maybe he saw the chance was going away when he intercepted the original opportunity, and he's earned a free kick in a very dangerous area. Yeah, absolutely. It has to be said, it's really poor work as well from Yunus Musa. He's 19 years of age, a little bit of inexperience there. Just puts two hands on Jack Grealish, nudge him with his shoulder perhaps, get a leg across him, but do not push away with two palms into the back of Jack Grealish. It's exactly what he did, gives away a free kick, and out of nowhere, I've not written a single good chance down in the second half for England, and we have one finally. Yeah, we really do. Luke Shaw, only a few minutes ago, he did take a free kick from a similar area, maybe 10 yards further away. It's a lot closer to goal on this occasion. Only 90 seconds left in this one. Head in hands moments, and the prayers are coming out from the English faithful behind that goal. Just see Harry Maguire, who at the moment is in an offside position. Of course, he's trying to force the American back line to rush back. He will be, of course, a target from this free kick. Luke Shaw looking towards everyone in the area. One hand raised by Shaw. Gets it into a dangerous position, looking for the head. Oh, what an opportunity that was for Harry Kane to get his first goal of the tournament. Just goes over the crossbar. It was a good ball. What a dangerous ball it was from Luke Shaw into an area where the American defence didn't know what to do. It goes wide instead of over the crossbar. Tim Ream couldn't get near it. Is there an element? Is Harry Kane surprised that he's gone on to that one? Quite perhaps. There were a lot of bodies in front of him putting him off, but that will finally surely be the last chance of this game. Team really two chances in and around the penalty spot. Weston McKennie first half, Harry Kane second half. That rather summarises it as we come to the final closing stages. 30 seconds only left in this one, hooked forward by Tim Ream. Headed back by Declan Rice, nearly over the head of Anthony Robinson. Rashford would have been ready to latch onto that one. Instead it goes all the way back to Matt Turner. Pressure from Rashford to force the long ball by the American keeper. I think in the end the referee has given a free kick to America. Maguire shoving over Giovanni Reina from the aerial duel. Maybe this will be the last opportunity. We thought the last one might have been from England with that set piece. The United States have got a set piece of their own, a bit more central than Luke Shaw's and a bit more further from goal. They're not committing too many men forward. Greg Berhalter's just saying to wait. They're pointing to his watch. It's more ideal for them if they were to get the 3 points.
He's probably saying, don't let the counter-attack come.
I think so, yeah. But Tim Ream has gone forward, as has Zimmerman there at the back post in sort of a similar scenario to where Harry Maguire was in the free kick a minute ago. They do go short to Giovanni Reina. He runs to the corner to find Christian Pulisic. The pass was blocked by Jack Grealish, and that will be the last action of the game. So both teams do keep their unbeaten tournament intact. But with America not getting the 3 points that they needed, that does mean they need to win against Iran in the final match day. Nothing else will do. As for England, well, it's a totally different performance compared to their dominating display against Iran, from 6-2 to a goalless draw with very few attacking opportunities by Gareth Southgate's men. Some changes needed in the final match day of this group. It has finished England 0, the United States of America 0.